One, two, three.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new video. We are very close to WrestleMania, and as you know, me and Anthony have been posting content all week long. We're in the final days here, so we're making our last video, which will be a short little final Mania video, which we'll just be going through different prompts such as best matches, super matches, who will have the best performance, stuff like that, all throughout this video. But joining us today is Mr. Brady from the Hail Marks podcast. How are we doing today, brother?
Always good, guys. Always good. Thank you for having me. Excited to talk some Mania with you guys.
Awesome. And Brady, I just want to start. You can say multiple matches for this one, but what do you think are going to be some of the best matches on this WrestleMania card?
Okay, we got like offhand 13 matches to pick from. So
Yep.
I do think we're gonna get. I do think we're gonna get some. The first one comes to my mind. I think Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu are really going to show out. They've built this feud to just be high intensity, physicality. Also, I think in terms of like, the hardcore wrestling fans, I think a lot of us kind of, especially if we go back to last year this time, we might have wanted a more prolific match for both of these guys. We might think these guys should be in consideration. Obviously, Drew, a lot of us didn't want him to drop the title, wanted him to be in the title match against Randy, or at least wanted him to somehow get in the triple threat. Jacob Fatu, it also kind of feels that his momentum got a little stalled with that injury. So I think this is kind of where they both try to hit the entire backstage with a follow me match. So that's the first one that comes to mind. I think Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, the build for this, the intensity, and then now that they didn't give me, I've been saying ever since this started, I want to see Obafemi get hit with an F5 on Raw before Mania happens, so I can relax a little bit because I want Obafemi to win. That didn't happen, which I think they did it on purpose to mess with me, because now I'm like, more anxious than ever, like, oh God, are they really going to make Brock go over again? I still have a lot of friends in my ear telling me that they think Obafemi is going to kick out at 1 from the F5. They're not worried at all. I'm a worrywart. So obviously the ladder match is going to be insane, especially with that being the first Mania match for what we got. Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee wasn't on the Mania card last year, right?
I do not believe so, no.
Yeah, Javon Evans with his first one, JD McDonough with his first one. Penta was on the card last year, right? I think he was.
We think.
I can't remember. I'm horrible with stuff like that, but I think he was. This is Rusev's first Mania back, and also this is a surprisingly big match that they slot him into. So that one's going to show up and show out. And now I kind of feel like I'm talking too much, but it's just, I'll go with those. I'll go with those 3 matches as the ones that I'm really looking forward to. I also think Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. People have turned on Sami, but don't forget Sami's still an amazing worker. That's why we've loved him and even loved to hate him. I think the booking has been his worst enemy right now, and that's why people are turning on him. When they switched him to the Cody feud, they actually got the fans behind him when it looked like Sami was going to turn on Cody and cost Cody the match. Then all of a sudden, they just removed him from it. Cody and Sami were talking every week. Now they haven't seen each other. And Sami went ahead and just took Carmelo's opportunity instead. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at those. Those 4 matches are the ones I'm really, obviously not leaving the main events alone, but those 4 matches are really what I'm looking forward to, expectations wise.
Awesome. I think for me, this is gonna be kind of boring because you did say this in there, but the one I'm looking forward to the most is Brock and Oba. I feel like that build has just been unreal. They've been maximizing their minutes. They haven't been getting a lot of time, but the time they get, you can really sink your teeth in this feud. And I like what you said about, how Brock hasn't really had any offense on Oba whatsoever. He hasn't hit any F5s, no German suplexes, not even like maybe like a punch or two. That's about it. So I guess that does raise a little bit of concern. Like maybe we see Brock go over. I really hope not because he doesn't need it. I know there's the rumor
At all.
yeah,
At all.
at all. I know there's the rumors that he's going to retire at SummerSlam in Minneapolis in his hometown. So if he were to go on a loss at SummerSlam, the real talk is, does he lose at Mania? Because that would be back to back two huge PLEs that he's losing at. Um,
SummerSlam.
yeah, SummerSlam. But I think
Cena did it.
yeah, I think Brock is gonna lose here. I think Brock is gonna put Oba over, and I think we're gonna see I wouldn't say the casual squash match, like the 2 minute. I think it's gonna be a 10-minute match where it's gonna be 8 minutes of Oba beating the hell out of Brock, and maybe you have Brock in 2 minutes of offense in there, maybe an F5, and I think Oba is just gonna eat an F5 and get right up, hit him with a fall from grace, and that's going to be all she wrote. And we're just going to see a star be born. We know that Oba's already all the way up here, but if he destroys Brock, his stock is going to be elevated like through the roof. So that's the match I'm looking forward to. They have everything in the palm of their hand, and I'm praying that they do not fumble this and make the outcome of it Brock.
The funny thing with this one, real quick, is that like everyone's acting like, oh, Brock can't lose at Mania. Oba can't beat him. It's too soon. It's too quick. You forget they had Seth Rollins beat him in like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they've already said this is going to open the show. So like, I don't think Brock is as unbeatable as they want us to believe. Like, I see it's illogical not to have Oba go over here.
Yeah.
I kind of a little differently from what you said. I kind of want to see Brock immediately attack. Like the truth is, at this point, I just have to cross my fingers and hope that they're doing the right thing. So like, I want Brock to just hit him with an F5 immediately. Have the crowd be shook, have commentary be shook, but then yes, have all my friends be right. Have Oba kick out at one. Then Brock stays on the attack. German, and Oba still keeps kicking out. Like this match can play with the crowd so much because they're going to have him in the palm of their hand. And if you do this the right way, which Brock is actually very good at this stuff, we don't give him the credit he deserves when it comes to knowing the crowd and knowing what will kill them. And Paul Heyman's involved somehow, so like we know he's a genius when it comes to the business. So I think you can really build it where this crowd just becomes unglued as you see Obafemi about to just fem up, and then boom, like as you said, I think a star can be born and should be born.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when it comes to me for WrestleMania best matches, I'll just quickly talk about Brock and Oba here. I just highlighting that promo that Oba had the other night. 'Cause I just a quote. I think he said, "Brock has 20 plus years of business or years of history that says he can't lose a Mania, but I have 4 weeks that says I can beat Brock." I thought that quote what he said was amazing. Especially because with this feud, Brock and Oba, they haven't needed the mic to build the feud. It's mainly just been kicking each other's asses, going back and forth on that one Raw that ended, kind of quickly. But um, another match that comes to mind, honestly, wasn't in my mind until now, but Seth Rollins versus Gunther, I think can be really good as well. We saw the short little promo where Gunther finally gave Seth an explanation, which was he's sick of watching Seth just walk around when Gunther is there. So I'm looking forward to Seth and Gunther as well, whether Braun Breaker shows up at Mania or if they wait until the Raw after Mania for Braun Breaker to come in. I think Seth Rollins versus Gunther is another match to look out for. Um, the last one for me would probably be honestly Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan because they're another
I'm
example.
so happy you said that. I'm so happy you said that.
Yes.
They're another example of what Anthony said, like maximizing their minutes. I mean, every segment with these two has been amazing. I mean, once again, kicking each other's asses. It feels like with this Mania, a lot of these feuds are more like, it doesn't really matter that there's a title on the line. The title, like, you're not really thinking about the title with
Right.
these matches. It's more like,
Yeah.
both these people hate each other, and I love matches like this. So Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer is, the last match that I think is going to be great. Honestly, could have headlined one of the nights, but I love how it's in
Yes.
that co-main
Agreed.
spot, and looking forward to all three of those matches. But moving up, we got Brady. What do you think some sleeper matches are going to look like?
I mean, I do think Stephanie and Liv is kind of in the sleeper category. Obviously you just mentioned it, and if you didn't, I was going to tag back in real quick and mention it. And as you mentioned, the title almost seems secondary, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Especially oftentimes the Royal Rumble match, the winner picking their champion, that match is centered around the title, and it's not personal at all. And these two decided to make it personal. And I'll be honest, I do get uncomfortable when parents get brought up for no real reason. I just don't like it. But and especially also, like, I don't really know the deal if Stephanie's mother is alive, not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that stuff always just makes me uncomfortable as a rule. But for whatever reason, that they keep going back to that well. But like, then with the bruises all over Liv's face that she's sporting proudly during her autograph signings and all that, like, not even, no concealer, nothing. So I think they're going to steal the show for sure. I do think that they might even outperform the men's main event with the Cody and Randy. Like, I think there's a good chance they do that. Um, Continuing with the women, I think the tag team title match, I don't know the deal if we're keeping Bella Twins, but even if they don't keep the Bella Twins and choose to replace them with any active women's tag team that they have, I like, either way, it's still going to be, I think, a great match. I love the Irresistible Forces. I was hoping they were going to go with Bad and Bougie as their team name, but I really dig them. They have a great chemistry. Lash Legend, I've been preaching her for like over a year. I just think she's got the future ahead of her. And her and Nia are a perfect fit, I think, and tag team champion is perfect fit. A part of me thinks that Bailey's going to get the title as like an apology for, sorry we did you so dirty last year, sorry that a year later you're in the same position with the same partner. And like, so I part of me thinks that if the titles do change hands, Lyra and Bailey walk away with it for that reason. But I kind of think it's too early to take them from Lash and Nia. But yeah, and let's not forget that Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are two of the best out there also. So that, I think, is going to be another sleeper match. Jade and Rhea is not really sleeper. This is two heavy hitters, but that's obviously, we haven't talked about it yet, but that's obviously, I do think it's going to kill. I know people are critical of Jade, but for the way they've devised this match, where it's going to be physical, it's going to be personal, it's not going to be a 15-minute. I don't, they're going to get into it and get after it. And Jade's a heel now with a stable who might be able to get involved. Both two talented ladies there also. So I think that match is going to kill. And yeah, I mean, I think those are the main sleepers. You can't really say a match with Finn Balor in it is a sleeper.
Yeah.
Like, as a rule, like, that's going to be a killer. And Dominic Mysterio is just untouchable these days, man. Like, he's killing it. He doesn't do wrong. So yeah, I think I'll stick with those two women's matches as the main sleepers. Actually, one more sleeper, only, and I won't even harp on it, but I do think the celebrity match, with ISHO Speed
Yeah.
teaming with Logan Paul, taking on the Usos and LA Knight. That's stellar talent, and Speed is a hell of an athlete. He's a great seller. He's also good at just putting his body on the line. I do feel like he will impress. So that match, I think, will probably be my final sleeper match. Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
I have one pick as my sleeper match, and I think it is going to be Trick and Sammy. I know how people have been complaining how it should have just been simple, Mello versus Trick, one-on-one. Should have been that, right? I think we're going to see the double turn, guys. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see a double turn. I think we're going to see Trick turning face, Sammy turning heel. I think it's going to be something along those lines. Sammy's heel turn now has been dated back since Cross, all the way back then. And I think the build up for his crash out has been nothing short of really enjoyable. I've really enjoyed it. Everything with Cody, everything with Aleister Black, everything with Mello and the title, everything with everybody. And I think this final thing with Trick has really crossed the line for him. And I don't think he's going to be able to hold back anymore. And I feel like we're going to get a really big Mania moment for Sami Zayn. He was trying to fight to get on the card, and the way he did it was by beating Mello, by taking advantage of his distraction from Trick. And I think that was his first little heel tactic. And I think at Mania, we're going to see anything he can do to possibly beat Trick Williams. And I think he turns heel in the process, and we finally get the dark version of Sami Zayn.
Yeah, no, and when it comes to, sleepers, I really liked how you mentioned Brady, how you mentioned the, little celebrity match we got going on, because when it comes to iShow Speed, I've always said this, when celebrities come into WWE, like into the business, some of them don't want to take spots. And I'll say we've seen plenty of examples where Speed has taken a spot, such as an RKO, a spear from Braun Breaker. So I'm a big fan of Speed when he's in the ring, just because he likes to, he likes to get hit, and I think he enjoys it. So plus you have the Usos, you have LA Knight, you have Logan Paul, Austin Theory. We've already seen what those guys can do, and I really like how this is the opener as well. I think it's free, ESPN, like the first hour or something. So I'm glad like this
Right.
match. This match is like they're trying to drag fans in with this match. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's something to look
And,
out for.
and also, did you guys catch what happened this morning with Jey Uso on Cameron's
Yeah,
podcast?
I did see
Yeah, and
that.
Cameron. So now I'm also thinking Cameron shows up Saturday night. I'm predicting him taking a steel chair to everybody. But yeah, like so there's definitely added excitement going on with that. They're gonna throw everything at it. So yeah, I think if anything, that match is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And next match would, once again be that four-way tag team women's match. I think there's a ton of talent, and usually, like I always said, these women matches usually go under the radar, and they end up being like really good, like a top three match by the end of the show, all the matches. So we saw it last year with the woman. The females always put on a good show. Lots of good talent, whether the Bella twins are in it or not. The Bellas are actually my pick, so hopefully they stay in. But um,
Interesting.
Mm.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I'll say my reasoning. Sure, I just think WWE's a fan of like feel good moments, and I feel like putting the tag team belts on the Bellas at Mania, at the grandest stage of them all, would be a feel good moment. So I feel like they want that, but we'll see. Uh,
Interesting.
whether the Bella twins are in it or not, that'll be my pick. But um, I think when it comes to sleeper matches, I think those, it's funny, it's both the tag team matches, but I think those are matches to look out for, and definitely prepared to watch them come Mania, come Mania. But Brady, when it comes to WrestleMania, there's always, who's going to have the best performance, which superstars are going to put on the best shows. Who do you think are some examples of those wrestlers walking into Saturday and Sunday?
Who are gonna have like standout performances?
Yeah,
Well, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but I do think, as I said, I think Drew and Jacob are going to come in with chips on both of their shoulders, ready to show up, show out. Obafemi, this is the biggest match of his career, and the fucking world. It feels like the world is behind him. Like, it honestly feels like I could go into a Walmart or a grocery store, and if they played that theme song, I'd look around and everyone would just be doing the strut. I really feels like the takeover is real. And then also going into the ladder match where these guys have probably the biggest advantage in terms of standing out and being able to steal the show. I think Javon Evans is going to really showcase the fact that he can do so many things that no one else can do. And Dragon Lee also, in fact, Dragon Lee and JD will probably shock the world even more because nobody's got their eyes on them right now. They're kind of just in the match and taking nothing away from them. But especially JD McDonough, people forget how good he is and what he's capable of. That guy is like a scientist in that ring. And put him with a ladder, those guys are gonna fucking go all out. And I'm sorry for cursing.
No, you're good.
You're good. Yeah, I was gonna kind of go off what you're saying. People do forget that JD might be the best seller in the entire company. He will sell his
Mm-hmm.
ass off for almost anybody. Like you said, Javon Evans is gonna put on a banger. Give him a ladder. He's doing something crazy. Swanton 450. He's gonna look like Leon Slater out there. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. You're gonna have. I think Obafemi is gonna like put some sort of clinic on in the ring. I know how they're two big men, but the way Oba moves for his size is terrifying. He is six
Mm-hmm.
foot six, 300 plus pounds, and he's sprinting across the ring. I think that is going to be absolutely terrifying. But my last pick for a standout in having the best performance is actually going to be Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul in the ring is one of the best talents that I have seen. In the ring, the way he can move looks like he's a seasoned vet. He looks like he's been doing this for years, and he's only like 3 years in the business, and it's absolutely incredible to see what he can do. And match him up with speed, I feel like they're gonna have an incredible moment together, some sort of incredible performance that is gonna be showcased for weeks to come, maybe even years. So I'm hyped up for it, and I just can't wait to see what they can do.
Yeah, and for me, when it comes to standouts, obviously Javon Evans. I'm a huge fan of Javon. Especially me and Anthony went to a Raw a couple weeks ago when they came to Boston. Javon had a great performance. Just love watching Javon Evans matches. Like we said, ladder match, so we're probably going to see some crazy spots here with all those guys, but I'll highlight Javon. Another
I
one that
actually
comes.
got to meet Javon when Raw came to town, when they were in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Him and Ivy Nile both popped into the suite that we were in, and they were taking pictures. They were saying hello. It was actually the night that they announced Javon was on Raw, so we were all like able to celebrate with him. It was lit.
That's awesome.
You know, and it's funny you mention that because when me and Anthony went to Raw a couple weeks ago, when we were exiting, we actually saw Javon, Liv Morgan, and Raquel all walking out together.
Nice.
Fans chasing them to the hotels. It was pretty odd. We have video of it. But um, past that, I think Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, I think, is another. I think we're going to see great performance out of those two. I love watching those two wrestle. Dominic with the huge win last year and a good Mania moment. I think we're going to see these two go after each other, and just the feud that these two have made as well, Finn Balor and Dom, especially because Finn Balor now is, as we know, has come back as the Demon. So I'm very curious how that goes, but I think Dom and Finn will put on a good show, and I think those are my superstars that come to mind for, best performances. But with these best
Agreed.
performances, there's always, performances that, we don't want to talk about. Brady, what are those or who do you think is going to have, maybe the worst performance when it comes to wrestling?
I mean, I try to, you guys see Custodian of Charisma on there. Another one of my nicknames is Ophthalmologist of Optimism. So I try to stay on the positive side. So honestly, I'm just gonna pull the easy answer out here, and I do think he'll have a good showing, but I'm just going to go with the celebrity. I'm just going to go with the lack of experience. I'm just going to go with I show speed. Once again, I don't think he'll have a bad performance, but I do think every wrestler who does this for a living will come out and show why they do this for a living. And I do think they'll put on a better performance than him. So by default, the worst performance will be I show speed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of gonna go off what you said because the people that are on the Mania card deserve to be there. They have done something to deserve a spot on the Mania card, whether it's a great storyline, great in the ring, something along those lines. And I'm looking through the card right now, and this is gonna sound mean, all right? I'm gonna pick a wrestler. I'm actually gonna pick a wrestler here, so don't come at me. I think Becky Lynch might have a bad performance at WrestleMania. And yeah, it's a hot take here, but me and Owen have talked about
Yeah.
this in the past before. She has had a bit of an issue with selling, just a little bit. With selling other people's moves, particularly in the AJ Lee feud. So, by no fault of her sucking in the ring at all, I think she's a great performer. I just think her selling ability might be the worst going into Mania, because I don't think anybody is going to have a terrible performance. Like, I don't think we're going to see completely career altering botch that is going to like ruin the entire night. But I just feel like her lack of selling sometimes can be a little bit of, eh. So that'd be my pick.
Yeah, no, and for me, I mean, yeah, obviously I show speed because of the experience, definitely showing that match. I'm curious how much he's in that match, to be honest, but we'll see. He'll definitely have some crazy spots, like I said. But if I'm to pick a wrestler, I'm trying to look through and see, like, when it comes to the end of the show, who's gonna, have the worst of everyone. I don't want to say this, but potentially it actually hurts I'm saying this, potentially LA Knight. I don't even want to say that, but I'm just saying that only because in the matches in the past we've seen, even at the Chamber when he had that terrible botch. I know botches happen, and obviously it's something that comes with the sport. But like when you're on a show, he's on another big show, especially because he's opening. I hope he doesn't make, a mistake like that, because last time when it happened at the Chamber, that's what everyone was talking about, was that botch he had in that, match. So,
I'll be honest, I really wish he would just eliminate that suplex from his
right?
arsenal, because he's just not like, it's not an easy jump to make. Like let's just eliminate it, bro. Maybe start with the second and then bounce up there,
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to mine, I think just actual speed for the, obvious one. LA Knight will be my hot take one, when it comes to wrestlers, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm wrong. I love LA Knight and, always, advocating for him to get some sort of push. So hopefully that'll happen as well. But Brady, when it comes to those matches that just you know, haven't made the card, aren't on the card this year. There's a lot of superstars that should be on the card but aren't. Who are some of those, what are some of those matches or superstars that you wish were on the WrestleMania 42?
Yeah, I don't really have any matches, but I'll definitely throw some people that I think they should have gotten on the card. Easiest one for me is Street Profits. Only because like last year, I remember everyone talking about the ladder match where they won, and it was like, this should have been on WrestleMania. And so I always think WWE really fucked up by not deciding 1 year from now, we're going to make sure to right this wrong. And no wrong was written. It was just and we're left now hoping that a reboot happens again. I feel like we're constantly in this position as Street Profit fans every year or two. So that's frustrating. Obviously, I think it's silly that Io Sky, who won the championship from the two biggest names in the women's division you could possibly give her, she's not on the card. Tiffany Stratton, who seemingly had the torch passed to her last year from Charlotte Flair, she's not on the card. That makes no sense to me. I do think that, I understand why they're going to do the mask versus mask Chad Gable, or El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. I understand why they're going to do that with AAA crowd, because the truth is that crowd is the most invested, and that crowd sees things the right way, whereas they've got the right El Grande as the babyface. I do not understand why the OG El Grande is babyface on Raw, but heel on everywhere else. It makes no sense. But nonetheless, those guys are two of the best workers in the company, so we would have gotten a banger from them if we had gotten them on the Mania card. And then let me give one more name. I mean, I guess I'll just stick with really all the women. Like Ivy Niles should be in a better position, and she should be able to get on the card. Asuka and Kairi Sane not being on the card is all types of insane. I even think they should have got, if you're gonna put BFAB and Nishin as a tag team, like I do think there's spots waiting for them in the Jade rematch. So like I do, like the same way people give Cardona credit for getting on the Mania card in the Mania main event for Edge and Undertaker. That's actually another one. Matt Cardona. I said it when they brought him back before the Royal Rumble. I'm like, they are shooting him in the foot, not just letting this be a surprise Rumble return. Because then he would have been set up for a Mania match. But I could tell from that debut, and I didn't want to be negative, but I'm like, bro, there's no way they have plans to get him on the Mania card if they're throwing his debut out before the Royal Rumble. Carmelo Hayes. I'm going to let you guys name names. I know I'm listing them all right now, but
Yeah, no,
obviously there's a litany of superstars that should have been on this card. Ilya Dragunov. What are we doing? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I have like four. I'll do three. The first one I was gonna say is our fellow Bostonian Carmelo Hayes. That is like highway robbery. How he is not on the Mania card. He put on he was the showcase of SmackDown every week with the U.S. Open Challenge, putting on banger matches. I think him not being on this card is horrible. They have this last Friday to make it up to us. If he can somehow squeeze into that match with Sami Zayn and Trick, make it a triple threat, even add Ilya, make it a fatal four way. I would love that too. I think that could be incredible. The Raw and or SmackDown tag team champions are not on there. Have a well, I know how you have Logan Paul in there and stuff, but I mean like a full on tag team showcase ladder match. They have for the women. I think over on SmackDown they should have a kind of a tag team showcase. Have a ladder match or something like that. I'm assuming we might see one on SmackDown the night before. Unfortunately, I know that happened last year with SummerSlam, I believe. But I really would love to see them get on. I know the Wyatt Six and the MFTs and all that. They've been in this blood feud that has seemingly gone nowhere, which I really don't like. But like, I feel like that's a really missed opportunity. Tiffany Stratton and Julia is another feud, another match that I would love to see on the Mania card for the U.S. Women's Championship. I think that would be incredible, given the fact how Tiffany Stratton was like the biggest thing just not too long ago. And unfortunately, Julia has only really had one defense of this title, and she just hit 100 days today, I believe, as champ, and only had one defense against Alexa Bliss. I don't know what they're doing. They seem to not have any plans with these mid card titles except for for the women's mid card titles, except AJ Lee, and her only feud is against Becky Lynch. So after Mania, please can we get a reset and move forward and have more feuds and include these real stars in the show? Please, thank you. I'll be sending a personalized email to Hunter for Helmsley. All right, next.
Yeah, no, and when it comes to, superstar, I think Io Sky, I think's my main one because I mean, I think she's one of the, top woman like when it comes to in-ring ability. So, and I couldn't even imagine being in her spot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think she walked into last year's WrestleMania as champion, and now she's not even on the card. I couldn't even picture that, being in that situation. So, Io Sky is definitely a huge one. I'll say I understand like they got the whole Wyatt Six thing going on, but I think Solo Sikoa as a single star should be on WrestleMania as well in some sort of feud. I don't know what they're doing with Solo. I love Solo. Used to hate the guy, but when it comes to Solo and his just his mic work, I think he deserves to have like a solo run, which I think we're seeing soon. They're teasing it, but he's another name. Like we mentioned, Tiffany Stratton and Julia. I thought that match, I think it's tomorrow on SmackDown, but I thought you could have put that match, on Mania. I'm pretty sure Sunday still needs like one more match to equal out. So maybe they'll do it, but I doubt it. But yeah, I think those are, a couple superstars that I would say I wish were on the Mania card, Asuka and Kairi Sane as well. That's another one. So when it comes to matches, if I were to come to one match, I really wanted to see Io Sky versus Asuka because I think that's another match that would be great, and the feud that we've seen between those two. So those are easily some superstars, and a match that I wish were on WrestleMania. But Now thinking more positively, when it comes to WrestleMania, there's always entrances. The entrances are the huge thing about WrestleMania. So Brady, what do you think, or who do you think is going to have some of the top entrance of WrestleMania?
So it's funny because the two main entrances I'm looking forward to, I know they're definitely WWE's going to do something special for them because they're big entrances. But I also don't even think it's necessary because I'm loving it for the crowd interaction. I'm talking about Obafemi, who's, his match versus Brock, their opening night too. But also, this is one of the main events. It should be on the marquee. Everyone is waiting for that Oba strut.
Yeah.
And it's not even just the strut, the fact that they're literally chanting his name throughout it. Like, it has such aura to it as he makes his way to take on the beast. Like, I think the energy for that's going to be electric. And then the other one is Trick Williams. I do think, especially now, they've added that elevation and turning him around with the jacket reveal. Like, I think they've already added some pageantry. So WrestleMania, we're turning that volume all the way up. And then I do agree with you when you said it earlier that we're going to get a double turn. The double turn kind of already happened already. Like, the fans are loud in rejecting Sammy, and the fans have never ever once rejected Trick Williams. So I do feel like all's going to be right in the world when the match ends, and finally the fans will be like encouraged to cheer for him right now and encouraged to boo Sami Zayn. Like, it'll finally be okay. But yeah, Trick Williams and Obafemi, those I think are going to be the two best entrances because the crowd's going to be the loudest for them. In addition to whatever WWE does for it, with Obafemi, I feel like maybe we get like a lot of people, like they have the entire entrance ramp with people with like swords or something, like where they're banging them, like probably be a callback to like Nigeria and maybe some of like the old classic weapons or where they would have. But like, I see something like that happening, and then Trick Williams could do anything. He might even come out in like a Lambo or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, especially with Lil Yachty now as his little hype man. The it's endless, the possibilities for those guys. So yeah, Oba and Trick, final answer.
All right, that's a great option. For me personally, my pick for the best entrance at Mania is gonna be the Demon Finn Balor. I think this demon entrance is gonna be incredible, particularly to make up for him losing to Edge at Mania 39. I think that was just wrong. Having the demon lose to Edge was, I know it was Brew Edge, but still, come on, same thing. And I believe that they're gonna have this match later on in the night. So I hope when they have it, it'll be when it's dark out. I think that would just add so much more. The whole arena turning red, Finn coming out in the smoke, crawling out, looking all demented. I think that is gonna be awesome. I could see Finn kind of almost running away in fear. I think that would be kind of hilarious. But for my answer, give me the Demon Finn Balor.
Yeah, and I have a couple that come to mind. And Bray, I like how you mentioned the crowd, being involved in the entrances. I really like that. So, my first one was Trick Williams. I've been waiting for this entrance at WrestleMania for a long time now, so I'm really excited to hear the crowd, chanting "Whoop that trick." Another one, obviously, Obafemi, like you mentioned. Another, interactive one. Two kind of different ones, but the fans are still gonna be, singing the song. I'd say Randy Orton is another one. Even though everything that's going on with that feud, the crowd always loves Randy Orton, and I love listening to them say his song, sing his song. Another one, my last one would be CM Punk. He's another one that the crowd, sings his song. So, and it's gonna be loud in there. Main event, CM Punk. We saw a really good entrance from him last year, so let's see if he tops it. But I think those are my four. And yeah, the last thing I want to, touch on, and it's obviously making our predictions, but Brady, what is your, considered lock for the night?
So it's funny. Anthony kind of made my lock. Like, basically, he said what I was thinking. But yeah, I'm going with Demon Finn Balor. If I got to pick one person that I'm certain is getting the W, I'm picking Demon Finn. Because this is an end of a big chapter. He's been with the Judgment Day forever. And while in the Judgment Day, it did kind of feel like there was a glass ceiling preventing him. Like they weren't going to make Finn the true leader with everyone gathering behind him to make him champion. Like that was never happening. So it's time for him to move on. It's time for him to explode on his own. And he's got to take out Dominic to do it. Dirty Dom's got to fall. Demon Finn wins it all.
Awesome. My lock, I have two locks here, all right? My first lock is Javon Evans will be your new Intercontinental Champion.
Woo!
I know Penta's run hasn't really been super good, in my opinion, unfortunately. It never really got off the ground. He only had a few defenses. I believe you should throw Penta in the tag team division, put him with Rey Fenix, put the Lucha Bros back together. They could put on some bangers. AEW, they put on bangers around the world, complete bangers. And I think Javon's run with the IC title will be absolutely incredible. And I know we talked about this earlier. Let's hope I'm right. But my other lock, Obafemi defeats Brock Lesnar. That is...
Let's go!
He is going to defeat Brock. He's going to put his foot on his chest, pin to 3. That's going to be all she wrote. The bringer of war, the ruler, the destroyer, Obafemi gets his WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, and for me, I think my lock, and I'm saying this as a huge fan of her, but I'm gonna say Liv Morgan beat Stephanie Vaquer here. Like we mentioned, these two, I've loved this feud going into Mania. I think it's gonna be a huge year for Liv Morgan. My one little short prediction that I have is potentially the Raw after Mania. Whether it's Roxanne, I'm leaning more towards Raquel potentially turning on Liv Morgan at the Raw after Mania. We'll see what happens, but when it comes to locks, I'm always going to stick with Liv Morgan taking out Stephanie Vaquer. But Brady, before we wrap this, WrestleMania talk up, where can our fans find your social platforms?
You can find us at the Heel Marks on all socials. That is myself, Brady, along with my co-host Danielle. Also, look out, we got a third heel mark. He is soon to be 13 years old. He is the masked menace of media. I used to say his real name, but he don't like that because he always says, I don't know who that is. I'm the masked menace of media. So I guess he's got a superhero going. We're going to keep the secret identity a secret. But you can follow him at the masked menace of, no, not the, masked menace of media. And then follow us at the Heel Marks.
Perfect. And for everyone watching, I'll find all Birdie's links. You'll see them down below. When it comes to me and Anthony, we're heavy on Instagram and TikTok. That's OverTheTopTalk that we use for everything. You'll see all our WrestleMania reels that we posted this week. All post-Mania content, more wrestling content. We also have a lot of UFC interviews coming up. Everything goes to our Instagram and TikTok as far as clips goes. But for everyone watching, me and Anthony appreciate you for watching all these WrestleMania clips. This is our first year really posting a lot of WrestleMania content. So we see all the comments and likes. So we appreciate you all for, supporting this WrestleMania season. Going into SummerSlam, we'll be doing a whole week of SummerSlam as well. So that'll be soon. But as far as WrestleMania goes, make sure to strap in. We're only 2 nights away. And with no further ado, me and Anthony will catch you guys all in the next one. Thank you, everybody.
1, 2, 3.